So again, thank you guys for joining. If I haven't had a chance to meet you, my name is Lindsay Risley. I am the Employee Health and Wellness Manager at the University of Oklahoma, and so help lead the Live Well OU Employee Wellness or Wellbeing program at the university to help encourage just a healthy lifestyle for all of our employees. So with today's little, like I said, almost like a little TED Talk, today's is rest is productive. So just real quick to jump off, want you to drop in the chat real quick. When I say the word rest, what do you automatically think of? Don't need to put a lot of thought into it. Just, right off the bat, when I say rest, what do you think of? Sleep, sleep and downtime. Awesome. Doing as little as possible. Vegging, yeah. Naps. Great, yeah. All naps, all kind of pretty common when we think of rest. All of those certain words and activities kind of come to mind. Stress-free, love it, yeah. Now, how about productive? So when I say the word productive, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of the word productive or hear the word productive? Busy, yeah. Task completion, work, being busy, accomplishing needed tasks, wonderful. Marking off the task list, right? Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you on that one. It's like, oh, great. How many things did I mark off my to-do list today, sort of thing. So great. So when you look at those, the words or phrases that we thought of when it comes to rest and those when it comes to productive, they don't really seem like they go together, right? It almost seems like saying rest is productive might sound like a little bit of an oxymoron, right? Because yes, a lot of times rest is like freedom from activity or labor, and then productive on the other side of it is like that capability to do a lot of work or maybe achieving or producing a significant amount or result. So yeah, so how is rest productive and how does this go together? Well, I think a few things to touch on first, what are some maybe myths about rest? And some of these things I think you guys mentioned, certainly when I said, what do you think about when I say the word rest? Some myths that rest is sleep, that it's lazy, maybe that it's a waste of time, that it's not productive, maybe that we don't have time to do it. And then also when we think of that whole I'll sleep or I'll rest when I'm dead sort of thought mentality. So some of these things are, typically what kind of come up myths about rest. Certainly for like high achievers, it can be very difficult to, have rest as part of our day or think that rest is okay. Because a lot of times, certainly with high achievers, we think that, oh, we need that go, 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 always need to be doing something sort of mentality to have that achievement or seem successful in that sort of way. But really, looking down, okay, well, then let's look at what is rest. What is it really? And really, rest allows us to literally do the rest, right? So, I mentioned earlier about, it's kind of I look at it as like a pause. When I think of rest, it's more like a pause. So it's certainly a necessary and essential part of our self-care routine, and that it needs to be incorporated throughout the day. This can be difficult for us as well, I think, when it comes to rest and trying to make sure we make it part of our lifestyle and that it's okay. Because we might think like, Sunday, the day of rest, working hard and being super productive all the other days of the week, and I'll rest on Sunday because it's the day of rest, right? Well, we can't get, all our rest in one day or 1 hour that will take care of the whole week sort of thing. So really, we've got to find ways to incorporate it throughout the day in little chunks. And, sometimes it is even going as far as giving ourselves permission to engage in that rest or those restful activities. Once you kind of think about it, when you do take those times to rest or pause, How do you feel? We tend to actually be a bit more productive, maybe even more motivated, helps with our, overall mood, quite possibly, and just our general mental health and well-being. So kind of want you to reflect on that a little bit. When you do take those opportunities and moments of rest, how do you tend to feel? What does your day usually end up looking like when you take those moments of rest throughout the day? And also kind of reflect on what does it look like when you don't and you tend to neglect that time? Because there are consequences, of course, of not taking that time for rest and incorporating it throughout our day. Here you see this here, it is quite literally like draining our batteries. So when we think of, take our devices, for example, your cell phone, your laptop, if it's not plugged in sort of thing, but you're using those sort of items that have a battery. And whenever you are like constantly on it, asking it to work, doing things, using apps, that sort of thing, and if you are just constantly using it and never giving it a time of rest, you use up that battery a lot faster, right? And then all of a sudden that battery's getting real low, and then it gets into battery saving mode. So things go, works a little slower, that sort of thing. It's not as efficient or quick. So that kind of is what ends up happening to us as well. If we're always asking our brains and our bodies to, go, 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 and never incorporate moments of rest, then we end up draining our batteries down. And then we tend to just not operate, if you will, as well, right? Um, right, exactly. If I neglect my rest, I'm not the best person. Absolutely. So, it can be difficult for some of us to allow our times or ourselves or give ourselves that permission of rest, because then we feel like maybe we're perceived as being lazy. But again, if we just don't allow ourselves that time of rest, then yeah, we are not our best selves. Then we end up getting burned out. And it then can affect relationships negatively, our emotional health negatively, our physical health negatively. So many different parts of our lives it can negatively impact if we don't take those times of rest. Um, and you have one body and you're in it throughout the entire day. So if you are pushing yourself throughout the workday, no rest, what happens when you get home at the end of the day? Well, your battery is drained, right? And you will have nothing left to give. And so you don't get to change out, to your home body out of your work body, right? You get this, it's the same body that we're in throughout the entire day. So I don't want you to, um, you know, sacrifice, make a sacrifice in one spot that will be detrimental to another area of your life. So if we can, throughout the entire day, take those moments of rest, then hopefully we will be our best selves, our best work selves, our best home selves, our best selves in all aspects of our lives. Now you can say, Lindsay, that sounds all great and wonderful and sounds so easy, but I'm aware there are obstacles that we run into throughout our days, right? And so many of these, just a few noted here, how these things can make it more difficult to uh, get that rest in as part of our day throughout the day, that we can make these, as excuses, or making it where that rest is lower on our priority because these other things kind of push it out of the way. So yeah, I understand it can be difficult, and when we have those obstacles or challenges or barriers, to make sure and get that rest in as part of our day. And it can look different for each one of us. Some of these things may not really be an obstacle where for one of us, and then for another, it can be a high obstacle, a big obstacle that they run into. So I think certainly if you can identify these, and then figure out ways of how you're going to approach them, or get again, even just giving yourself that permission, shifting your mindset can be helpful in kind of overcoming some of these obstacles. And you're like, fantastic. So then what do we do? What can we do with this stuff? Again, we understand that there's some obstacles that may make it challenging for us to make rest as an important part of our day to help us be more productive. So like I said, kind of reframing your thinking, your set needs to be, shift that a little bit, quite honestly. And that can be difficult. That's not necessarily going to be something that happens overnight, especially if you've kind of um, had this habit over time and now you're trying to kind of change that habit a little bit, or you're thinking that'll take time to do. So give yourself some grace there. And many times it's just regularly giving yourself that permission, like, hey, rest is not lazy. Rest helps me when I look back and reflect on it. Rest helps me be a better version of myself. When I incorporate those small pauses throughout the day, or moments of rest, that helps me be more productive. My motivation increases, and just trying to find our best self on all aspects of our lives. It, helpful with our relationships with others, those connections, and so on. So it doesn't need to be a lot of time. I mean, you can start small, 5 minutes. Just take those 5 minute pauses or rest breaks. I like to, maybe take a walk around work. We have a nice little walking path around my office. And when I say go out, take a walk, I'm also saying, like, let's not take that time to scroll through social media while we're doing that too, because that's not restful, right? So maybe if we can set our devices aside too, and actually, lift up our heads, look around and look at the world and nature around us and enjoy those things, right? With the old saying of, stop and smell the roses. That is the whole part of taking those pauses, those rest breaks, to really be mindful, take that time for yourself, and to fill your cup back up, or recharge your battery, right? Setting boundaries, that can be very difficult for a lot of us. And using the word no. I know it's hard to say the word no sometimes because we think we're being rude or mean. Um, but it needs to be said sometimes in a nice way to help set those boundaries and take care of ourselves, again, to be our best selves. So if you get asked to do something, be on the PTA or something like that, can you be the president of the PTA, and you just have already so much on your plate? Say, oh, you know what? I really appreciate that invitation. I'm flattered that you would even think of me like that, but I really just have a lot going on. I'm not going to be able to do that at this time. But again, I'm very flattered that you would think of me and invite me to do that. But I just won't be able to help in that capacity right now. So you can still, say it nicely. Sometimes it's just saying, oh, no, I really can't devote that time to that right now. You can keep it simple. So again, you can kind of look through here and see what works best for you, what fits best for you on practicing incorporating those rest pauses or breaks throughout the day. If you're someone that struggles with this, I encourage you just kind of, again, start small and kind of making a goal for yourself that, hey, I'm going to take 3 5-minute rest or pauses throughout the day, like that little 5 minute walk or whatever the case may be, to allow your time for that, and schedule them. Sometimes you need to even go as far as put it on your calendar to get those reminders to help you out with that. So find out what works best for you. And I encourage you to reflect on it too. Hey, okay, when I don't get that rest throughout my day, those rest breaks, how do I feel? What's my day look like when I don't get them? Reflect on that. And then, the days you do have those rest breaks throughout the day, reflect on that too. What your day looks like, how you feel, and that sort of thing. And so that can be helpful too. And hey, okay, yes, I really feel better and I'm a better person, better coworker, better spouse, parent, whatever your different roles are, and help out that, yes, I need to make this a priority and this is why, and set those boundaries. Yeah, great to hear. My walks are a huge daily need for me. Working remotely, I have to get up and move away from my computer. Absolutely. We can get in tunnel vision. So, if you have to even set an alarm on your phone or whatever it is, I encourage you to do so to help get those in there and be intentional with them. So thank you guys so much. I hope you walk away here today to make sure and incorporate that rest throughout your day and be intentional with it, and see how it helps you be a more productive person and that it can help with your productivity and overall well-being and motivation. So I appreciate you guys. You enjoy your weekend and be well.